In our city there lived a girl and they called her a crybaby. They called her that because no matter what you said to her, she would immediately start crying and leave. The kids in the yard got tired of it, they started avoiding her. This girl's parents always went to the yard to figure out why they didn't want to be friends with their daughter. But they would always leave, saying that they don't deal with crybabies. The years went by, the girl grew up and became prettier. But her habit of whining remained. If the store held back the change, she would start crying. If she was pushed in a crowd, she would start crying again. In general, it's hard for such a person in modern society, once in a funny way. In the morning her mother sent the girl to the park to pick flowers, to decorate the apartment before her grandmother arrived. She was walking in a good mood, but along the way she met a group of teenagers. They were her old friends from the sandbox. They grew up, the one who was always quiet and walked with tattoos and piercings. The one who was the most nimble stood with cigarettes and told stories. The girls, red-haired twins, stood with a bottle of beer and laughed. Black-haired Ruslan, the favorite of all the girls, recognized his former girlfriend and could not help but make fun of her. "Hey, crybaby, is that you?" The girl stopped, thought, and turned to, "Wow, you've grown up, crybaby, you become prettier, and why are you without a headscarf? Who's going to pick up your snot?" The whole company laughed. The crybaby remembered the ridicule of her comrades, tried to restrain herself from crying, but her lips began to tremble, and her eyes turned red, as if she would burst into tears at the explosion. "Oh, look who burst into tears here. It's the crybaby," Ruslan continued. The girl turned around and went to the park. Walking in the back, she heard many more offensive words. Near the tulip meadow she noticed her grandmother. She was peacefully cutting the dried grass and watering the flowers. "Excuse me," said Plaque. "Sa, can I cut a couple of flowers for Grandma?" "Darling, I've been taking care of the plants here for 15 years. So that you don't pick them, and you scoundrels ruin them and trample them," said the granny. Picking a dried tulip. Klaxa turned around and started crying. "Well, quiet, granddaughter. Quiet, I'll give you flowers and give you some special candies. You'll give them to your friends who talked to you today. And tell them that these are special candies. And that you need to be careful with them, don't eat them yourself under any circumstances." "Okay," she said, the tearful girl, wiping away her tears with her fist, and rather opened the door, saw Ruslan's mother on the threshold. She was all in tears and asked, did she see who her son was leaving home with yesterday? It turned out that Ruslan had not returned home, and in the morning a strange grandmother came up to his mother and said that they could not look for their son, he was dead. Crybaby immediately remembered that same strange grandmother and ran to the park. There she met that old woman. She was doing the same thing as yesterday. "What did you do with them?" Crybaby shouted. "I'm okay, why not?" she said, smiling. The old woman, "No lie, don't lie to me. Where's Ruslan? Don't whine, you fool, he called you names, and you're still worried about him. Bring him back to his family," the girl shouted so that everyone in the park could hear. Okay, fine." The old woman went somewhere to the forest and came out about 15 minutes later, carrying something in a bag. "Here," throwing the bag on the ground, the old woman said. "Take it." The crybaby opened the bag and Ruslan's head rolled out. And that strange candy was sticking out of his mouth. Remember, girl, in life everything